Hi guys, today we're starting a new series, North Node in Sagittarius. I found the craziest shirt in my closet, so that would represent Sagittarian energy. So let's go. Before we dive into each house to see what we're working with here, let's talk about your South Node in Gemini. So you guys with the South Node in Gemini, you guys are my writers, you guys are my speakers, you guys are my communicators, my salespeople, my intellectuals, my why not philosophers? People who have mastered the art of communication in all its forms, written, oral, whatever communication there is. You get the idea. You guys are great at that. You guys, nobody can out-talk a Gemini South Node unless you have Gemini planets. So Gemini energy is great. Gemini energy loves variety. It's very curious. So you inside of you, there's this innate curiosity about everything. There's you want to know about everything, and you pride yourself on knowing a little bit about everything or a lot about everything. What else? You guys, there was a lot of lifetimes where there was a lot of thinking involved, a lot of decision. A lot of gathering information. You guys are my scribes. You guys are the people, in Game of Thrones, the guy that was every kingdom had a guy that kept track of everything, of all the history and everything. That's you guys, people that dealt with information, disseminating information, collecting information, passing it down in all kinds of forms. So you're great at that. Great salespeople, great, great storytellers, great jokesters. You guys are those, great humor, great sense of humor. Nobody can pull the wool over your eyes because you guys have done that yourself in many lifetimes. So now, if we talk about the bad part, because since the Gemini is in the South Node, that means you guys kind of went to the extreme with these ideas of communication. So what do I mean by that? Gemini South Nodes, you guys are my con artists, you guys are my tricksters, you guys are my imposters, you guys are my used car salesmen, you guys are the ones that, propaganda, fake news, the yellow press, all those ideas where information was misused, it was disseminated in ways that was not honest. You guys are, let's just say it. You guys are very good at telling lies. You guys are very good at twisting the truth. You guys are, like I said, very good at, talking people into buying stuff they don't need. You're very good at manipulating people with information or withholding information. But basically, at the end of the day, and the crazy part is that you, part of you is afraid in a sense of getting tricked. Because you've done it yourself, you're very wary of people around you. And you're always kind of worried about somebody pulling the wool over your eyes. So you kind of don't really trust people that much because you're so scared that somebody's going to lie to you or somebody's going to, con you into something. So you're very cautious about that. But the beauty is that if you are attracting people like that in your life, they're here to show you parts of yourself because there is a con man inside of you. So once you accept that, then you won't attract people like that. What else? Gemini South Nodes, fun people that did a lot of thinking, did a lot of weighing, did a lot of logical. Your mind is very logical. Your mind is, Gemini can be light-hearted, but if it's in the South Node, it can also be a lot of thinking, a lot of mental, constantly the mind is racing. You can never relax. You're always thinking about this and thinking about that and thinking the worst and maybe expecting the worst. Your mind plays tricks on you because your mind is very powerful, always telling you stories. So now with North Node in Sagittarius, the beauty of it is that you need to get away from so much thinking and get into doing. Because Sagittarius doesn't think. Sagittarius just experiences. Sagittarius is the liver of life. Sagittarius doesn't hesitate. He just goes. If he needs to jump, he jumps. And then later he realizes maybe he shouldn't have done that. And that's the beauty of Sagittarian, is that he doesn't hesitate, you know. And you guys, with so many lifetimes of thinking, of always weighing options, of always collecting data, of always thinking, if I just had a little bit more information, I could make the right decision. And that always stopped you. It stopped you from living your life because you're always in your head. You guys are a lot of times in your head. There's a lot of tension in your head. And a lot of times I would say, because you're so active, because that mind's always spinning, sometimes you guys may resort to, you know, things like alcohol, drugs to kind of relax, to calm you down. Nothing wrong with that. You know, all the things that I mentioned, they're tools. They're tools to kind of help you out, because sometimes your mind is just drives you crazy. So with Sagittarius North Nodes, you guys are here to experience. You guys are here to shut your mind and just do what it is that you want to do, because your heart wants to experience. Your heart is done collecting information. Your heart is done thinking about it, pondering, analyzing. You guys love to analyze because you're so afraid to make a mistake. So with Sagittarius, you're just here to do it. You're here to experience it. You're here to find your own truth, because Gemini South Nodes, you guys have twisted the truth. You guys lied. You guys lied to a lot of people, you know, mass people in the form of propaganda or one-to-one relationships. You guys were my imposters that kind of told people what they wanted to hear. You know, the players, you know, romantically, you guys were like that. You know what to say to the other person to get them to do what you want them to do. You're brilliant at that, and you can literally, because you can talk so much about everything, you can literally drive the other person crazy, and they'll just say, okay, fuck it, I'll buy it, whatever, just stop. So so yeah, God forbid the wrong person ends up in your hands. You know, you will you do whatever you want with them, because you're good at manipulating people with your words. So yeah, so with Sagittarian, it's going to be important to find your truth. Sagittarius is not a liar. Sagittarius is very honest, sometimes too honest, but that's going to be the most important thing for you in this lifetime, is to find that truth, your inner truth, not so much from here, but from here, and follow it and act on it and speak it, you know, but speak it honestly, even sarcastically, even if it's going to upset people, you know, because you're always used to kind of smoothing things over to benefit you or to benefit the situation. And so now you're here to not be that way. You're here to kind of say, this is what I think, and this is the truth, and I don't care if I lose all of you guys. I don't care if you guys, nobody likes me, but I don't care, because I'm alive like this. You're here to be alive, because Sagittarian is a perfect example of just being alive, being in the moment, and acting on your instincts, and acting on that drive, that fire that you have within you. All right, so now let's go through the houses and see exactly kind of ideas that we are that you'll be working with in this lifetime. Okay? Okay. North Node in Sagittarius in the 7th house. What does that mean? So first, let's talk about your South Node in Gemini in the 1st. So you guys are probably a lot of fun to be around. You guys are very lively. You're very youthful looking. Gemini in the 1st is just never gets old. You know, there's a youthfulness in your eyes. There's that glimmer of like excitement, and you're fun to be around. You're probably the life of the party. You're probably somebody who always has a good story to tell. You're somebody, when you show up, people are like, hey, we're about to have fun. You know how to, you focus a lot on how you communicate. You know, that's basically a big part of you, as a person, how you know yourself, is this chatterbox. You know, you have a lot to say. You know a little bit about everything, a little bit about everybody. You're very wrapped up in that world of constantly collecting information and constantly looking for the next interesting shiny thing. And you like the social butterfly. That would be you guys. And you define yourself a lot through the way you communicate. You define yourself, you pride yourself on the storyteller that you are, and the fun person that you are, and that you always have something to say about everything, you know. So a lot of your attention was focused on yourself, you know, on your expression, on how you look to people, on are you interesting. You always wanted to be interesting. You never wanted to be boring. As a matter of fact, probably one of your biggest fears is, God forbid I ever get boring. God forbid I say something and nobody listens. Because you guys are my, like I said, you know, chatterboxes. You guys are very talkative. You guys are probably very gossipy. You know, you spend a lot of lifetimes, and even now, you know, where you're sharing information, passing it on, and it's usually the idea of, hey, did you hear what happened? Do you know what happened to this person? You know everything about everybody. You always looking for more information, always looking to be up to date on everything. So you give yourself life through through your mind. You probably have a very busy mind. You're always bored. You're always like, okay, what's next? What's next? It's very hard to hold your attention. You're probably watching this video and you're like, all right, let's get what's next. What are you going to tell me that I don't already know? That would be you. What else? So because you're so focused on this exchange of information and being the social butterfly, the downfall of that can be that you're very superficial. You're very much on the surface. You're very much on not really getting to know anybody, more about me, and look at me and listen to me and let me tell you a story and let me tell you what I know. So you pride yourself on that, and you don't really know who you are if you just shut up. You don't. To you, it's very uncomfortable to be somewhere and just be quiet and observe. You have to come in and you have to set the tone for the conversation. And if it gets boring, or if it's something that is not interesting to you, or something that you don't know much about, you will always bring it back to you with something that's gonna get everybody excited again, and you're gonna be like, hey guys, let me tell you. Like the court jester, that would be a good representation. The one that makes people laugh, the one that makes people, have fun. You're great to have at parties. But a lot of people that like to talk as well, they could probably get in a competition with you, and you could even become, competitive in a sense of how you communicate. You're always maybe trying to outdo somebody with your information. You can say, well, I know this. Well, this is what I heard. Well, and you're always kind of competing in a sense with who's better, who's wittier. You're very witty. Who's more fun? Who's more exciting? So you probably would be challenged by somebody like you, somebody who's talkative, and you probably would not really enjoy that because you like the attention on yourself. So because you had so many lifetimes where you were focused on yourself and your speech and having that attention from people, and let's say probably great at debates, let's say Gemini in the first, somebody who would probably enjoy a good argument, somebody, because it's the house of Aries, it's the house of, that selfishness of like, I want to talk the whole time. I want to take up the whole conversation. So some people like that, they'll sit there and listen to you, but some people will just be like, oh my God, you're driving me crazy. You talk my head off, I gotta go. So with your North Node in Sagittarius in the 7th, anytime there's a North Node in the 7th, then you're gonna have to shift the focus from yourself and your expression to another. But before I go into that, with Gemini in the 1st, you have a very youthful appearance. You're always gonna look young. Your eyes are probably very young looking. They're very sparkly, there's that little daredevil in there, that little mischievous look where it's like, what else can I do? What else can I say? How can I get everybody worked up? You have that in you. So you're always going to have that youthful appeal to you. All right, moving to the 7th with Sagittarius there. You're here to get your attention from yourself and to others, and do it in a Sagittarius way. What does that mean? Exploratory. You got to get curious about people, but in a genuine way. You got to get curious about other cultures, foreign people. With the 7th house in Sagittarius, you're probably going to attract a lot of foreign partners, and you're there to learn about them, to explore them, to let them talk, to let them tell you a story. You're here to be adventurous with your partners. You're here to go from superficiality and being the social butterfly and go into the idea of have fun with your partner, and have the partner bring in a fun experience too. Let your partner also entertain you. You know how to entertain others, but you're here to do that mutual entertainment. You almost, with the 7th sense Sagittarius, you're almost guaranteed to have a partner that's going to be fun. Somebody that you can go on adventures with, somebody you can explore with, somebody that you can share, teach each other. Your partner can teach you a few things. With Gemini in the 1st, you may think that you know everything. You may think that you're just full of information, but it's usually probably empty information. It's gossipy. There's no real authenticity there. So with Sagittarius in the 7th, you're here to be authentic. You're here to pick your partners, pick authentic partners, people who are themselves, people who don't really care what the world thinks about them, because you in the 1st, Gemini, you kind of like to be in that, in the middle of it all. You have that fear of missing out. FOMO, that's what they call. Yeah, you always want to be where the party's at. You always want to be with the cool people, the fun people. So with Sagittarius in the 7th, you're here to kind of let go of that fear of missing out and know that everything is an adventure, no matter where you are. And whoever's around you, you can make the best out of it. Sagittarius never gets bored. And Sagittarius doesn't really need an audience to have fun. And so in your case, you have to bring that energy to your partnerships, where maybe instead of focusing on a lot of people listening to you and looking for that feedback and looking for, do they like me? Am I fun? Am I interesting? And just to be like, hey, it doesn't matter because I'm being myself. You're here to be yourself. You're here to find out who you are once again, and get away from gossip, get away from that boredom of like just passing on information from one group to the other, and just being more of exploratory. And with Sagittarius in the 7th, you can have multiple partners. You're here to explore the adventurous part of you, not so much thinking, more doing, taking risks, dating somebody who's completely out of your comfort zone, somebody who's completely opposite of your upbringing, and getting to know them and sharing and let them teach you something. You're here to teach one another. Sagittarius is a teacher. Same thing with like business partners. You're here to be authentic. Once again, be yourself, find out the real you, who the real you is, and be that. And interact with people, explore them, be, bold, don't tell people what you think they want to hear. Let's say you're so used to always coming up with these crazy stories to get people's attention. This time, don't worry about getting attention. Just be, don't try to tell people what they want to hear. Tell them what you want to tell them, what is coming out of you, because you have a lot of craziness in you. Sagittarius North Node is a permission to be crazy, to be authentic, to be you. And then you'll see that your surroundings will change. The people around you, you will have real fun, authentic fun, versus superficial fun that everybody is trying to have these days. Okay? All right.